has been speaking in London today. Let's have a listen.
Our future doesn't need to be Brexit. So now is the time to speak out more loudly than ever, before any further irreparable damage is done. Only a public vote can break this deadlock, but we will only achieve this if Labour fights for it and champions it. We must do that in Parliament and around the country. Labour must make the positive case.
Rushanara, why does the Deputy Leader of the Labour Party have to give a public speech in order to persuade the Leader of the Labour Party to give full-throated backing for a second referendum?
He's giving a public speech to win the argument among the wider public, as well as to,
who's he talking
as well as to address some of the concerns that some of my colleagues have. Of course, there are differences of views about whether we should have another referendum, and it's right that we should be making the case and winning the argument. I think it's really important that the Labour Party gets off the fence. The front bench position is problematic. We did have a motion at conference which was supported. All the other options have been exhausted. Some would argue that we need to call for a general election in the light of the Tory leadership contest, and I have a lot of sympathy for that argument. If that fails, we still need to move towards breaking the deadlock, which is why the Labour Party needs to move forward and be unambiguous in its position for a public vote. And that's what Tom is doing.
So who are you and Tom Watson trying to persuade?
Well, we need to persuade those of our colleagues who are sceptical about a public vote.
Does that include Ian Lavery, who is the chairman of the Labour Party, Labour MP? Let's show his tweet. Brexit has turned this country into a toxic nation. However, ignoring the 17.4 million Leave voters isn't politically smart, nor indeed particularly democratic, is it?
Well, what I would say to colleagues like Ian Lavery is that the Labour Party has tried the other options. We even had a 6-week negotiation period with the government, and the government wasn't willing to change its red lines. And the only deal that's on the table is the one that Theresa May secured with the European Union. And that's the choice between that and the option to remain in. And what we need to do is be really clear about what we stand for. The Labour Party is not going to be able to out-Brexit the Brexit Party, and nor should they try. And I think some of my colleagues just need to be realistic about what's happening here. And we need, in order to break this deadlock, we need a public vote. We need to put the decision back to the people so that we can be certain that we've got the backing of the British people on whichever direction of travel they want to go down in.
Crazy own goal for the Labour Party, absolutely crazy. The 5 million Labour voters, we think, voted Leave in the EU referendum. 56% of Labour seats with sitting Labour MPs voted Leave. Labour stood on an election in 2017, election manifesto.